Okay, so thanks for introducing yourself, guys, and us leaders. We're going to introduce ourselves real quick, and then tonight we are going to talk about your why and your vision, and we are also going to talk about the 4 vital behaviors in Beachbody. So 4 vital behaviors to be a successful coach. So let me start by saying that I'm Greg Armfield. I'm probably most of your upline, 5-star diamond coach. I'm actually a lifetime 9-star diamond coach. I have personally sponsored 11 diamonds. And I was one of the founders of our team, and we now have a team of over 2,000 coaches. And I've been doing this for 6 years. And I was able to retire from my full-time corporate 6-figure job about 2 years ago. And so that's what this business can do for you if you work it, if you take ownership of it, work it like a business, and you're committed and diligent to it. So I'll turn it over to Brian. You want to go?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Rolka. I am currently a 2-star diamond coach, a lifetime 3-star diamond, and this Thursday will be another diamond. I'm super excited. I'll have another diamond added.
Wow, who?
It's going to be Jill Sanchez.
Really? Nice.
Yes.
Right.
Super proud of her. She's also one of my success partners too, so this is very, very special. Greg is my coach. Greg, I've been a coach now for 4 years, just had my 4-year anniversary. It was, at the time that I became a coach, it was for the discount. It wasn't supposed to turn into what it turned into. But every day I am grateful, thankful. I feel blessed that this opportunity came my way, was presented to me by Greg. I feel very thankful and blessed that I finally said yes after 3 times of telling Greg no, I didn't want to become a coach, because it has literally changed my life. And we're going to talk a little bit about coaching why, and I'll give you my why. But this has been an amazing experience, and I love it. I love doing these training calls, and and I'm in Florida. I live in Florida, a little bit south of, who's in Titusville again?
Carrie.
Carrie, okay,
Yep.
so I'm a little bit south of you. I'm down here in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
And been here for most of my adult life. I'm married. I have a wonderful, beautiful wife, Andrea, and 7 wonderful and obnoxious cats live in our house.
Yeah. I forgot to say, yes, I'm married as well. I'm in Leesburg, Virginia, and I have 2 daughters and 2 obnoxious, horrible cats. Jessica, do you want to go next?
Hi guys, my name's Jessica Gray. I am a lifetime diamond. I've been a coach for 2.5 years, and I am married, and we have 1 daughter. She's 15, and we have a perfect little puppy. She's Shih Tzu. And that's me in a nutshell, I guess.
All right. Well, we won't get all the other sponsors to introduce themselves, but if just a word to the sponsors, if you do guys, if you ladies would like to help out on any of our future calls, we can certainly have you help out. So, but for tonight, it'll just be the Brian and Jessica and I. Let's start with your why and your vision. Brian, you want to start talking about those?
Sure. All right. So many of you guys know how important having a strong, powerful, and personal why is. Now, you all have that with your fitness journeys, whether it's to lose weight, hit your goal weight, become healthier. And you all know, how important, the stronger your why, the more success that you'll have with your goals. So if your why is just to fit into that bikini this summer, it's probably not that strong enough. But if your why is because you went to the doctor and he said, hey, listen, if you don't lose some weight, we got some serious issues that are going on right now. Cholesterol, blood pressure, fatty liver, list of things, borderline diabetic. And these are the things that my doctor said to me at 39 years young. And it was a wake-up call. I had lots of other things going on in my life. I am a recovering alcoholic and prescription drug abuser for most of my life. Alcohol runs in my family, and I thought when I was younger that it would skip me and that I would never turn into my dad, who is an alcoholic, still an alcoholic, but it didn't. And the disease got me, and as I got older in life, it grabbed onto me even more so. And finally I had to do something about it, and that's when I went to rehab, and that's when I learned some tools to use, one of them being having a healthy body to match that healthy mind that I wanted. And that's what started my fitness journey. So that was my why. That was my why when I started my fitness journey. I needed to stay sober. That was my strong why. And it got me through all those tough times. It got me through those obstacles. It got me through those struggles. And I lost 100 pounds. I became a coach. And even though I didn't have my coaching why in the initial, because it was just to get the discount, my coaching why started to come pretty much quickly afterwards, because I found by being a coach and by being able to spend my free time now, because now I had a lot of free time because I wasn't using drugs or drinking, so all that free time was available, that I had these positive habits and behaviors that I could do, that I could spend time with this coaching thing. So that became my coaching why. So that was very strong to me, very strong and powerful. And that also became part of my story. And as coaches, we also need to have our stories, and we need to be able to share our stories. We need to be able to share our whys with people. Now, a lot of times your coaching why, you might, have to think about it and go, well, maybe I don't have a why. Let me tell you something. Everyone on this call right here, you guys have a why. It's there. It's in there. It's deep down. And you just have to do the work to kind of figure out exactly what it is. Now, if it's a why, and you can have multiple whys too. Like you guys, I just told you what my why is. And that's why I continue to coach. That's why I'll never stop. It keeps me sober. It keeps me with positive people in my life, positive influences. It keeps me sane, but then I also have that financial why for coaching. And it's okay that you have two different whys. And by the way, guys, we all have one major why that we all share, right? And that's to help people. Okay. So that coaching why is a given. So if your why to become a coach is, well, I want to help people, that's good. That's why we're all coaches. That's what we want to do. We want to help people. We got to dig deeper. Got to get deeper than that. What is it about this business? Why do you want to become someone like maybe Greg, who is able to leave their six-figure job because now they're making six figures more money than he was making with Beachbody? I mean, with his corporate job, he's making more money now with Beachbody. What is that going to take? How strong does your why have to be in order for that to happen? So that's what you got to kind of think about when you're thinking about your why, and peel it off into layers. I like to do this exercise with my fitness challengers and also with my coaches, is to keep asking questions. So if you come up with a why, break it down and ask another question. So for example, why do you want to become a coach? Because I want to help people. Well, why do you want to help people? Well, I want to help people because it makes me feel good. Well, why does helping people make you feel good? And then you break it down until you can't break it down any further. And then you get to the bottom of why you really want to do this. Okay. And if it's a financial why, you can have those too. Like I was talking about, I have huge financial whys with this business. It keeps me going. Some of my financial whys, I have a great job. I work at a park manager. Love it, work with great people, but it doesn't pay me what I'm worth. You know, I don't like people putting a label on me saying that, well, you're only worth this much money an hour, so this is what I'm going to give you. Or telling me that you want to take a vacation, well, fill out this paperwork and let's get it approved. We'll see if we can get it approved. You know, retire? Yeah, we're putting money away for you every week to retire. But when you retire, you'll have enough to live for probably about 6 months. You know, and then you'll have to get another job anyway. You know, so you'll be working for the rest of your life. You know, no, I don't want any of that. I want to be able to control my financial freedom. I want to be able to, when I retire, not have anybody have to take care of me or my wife, not the government. You know, we don't have any kids, but if we did, not our kids. You know, I want to be able, and we want to be able to do the things that we want to do. We want to travel. You know, we want to be able to, you know, we're purchasing a home coming up soon. You know, and that came about because of Beachbody. I never would have been able to do it if it wasn't for Beachbody. Or I should say, we never would have been able to purchase the home that we really, really, really want, you know, because of Beachbody. Could have been another home and been like, well, that's what we can afford, you know, but now we're getting what we really, really want, you know. So having that strong, powerful, personal why, because this business, just like any other business, just like your fitness journey, it's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be struggles. There's going to be obstacles. And if you don't have that why power to bust through them, it's going to be very, very difficult to be successful in this. So,
yeah, there's a speaker that I really like called, her name is Danny Johnson, and she says that 98% of the U.S. population is going to be dead or dead broke by the age of 65. You know, I mean, that's like statistical fact, you know. So if you don't want to be the 98%, like Brian's saying, where you work for 40 years so that you can retire to live off 40% of your income, you know, for the remaining 20 years of your life, and then, like Brian said, that would probably run out and you're going to be dead broke, right? And living with your kids, right? So if you don't want to be that 98%, if you want to be that 2% that, you know, is not dead or dead broke, you know, this is the business for you because, you know, it can help you generate the wealth, right? The financial wealth to get yourself out of that rat race, right? And it also can give you the health that you need so that you can live longer, right? So there's lots of benefits to this business. I know that it's kind of sad, but there's I was talking to some of the Diamond leaders that there's another MLM company that's popped up and a bunch of coaches are jumping ship to it, and it's to sell wine. I mean, really, they're getting out of this health and fitness, the best business in the world, to go sell wine. Really? I mean, is it just about money? I mean, that's just crazy. But, you know, like Brian said, I hope you guys really dig into your why, because if your why right now, if you just signed up to get a discount, well, to be honest with you, you're probably not going to be here a year from now. Okay? You're going to quit. You know, the first time you fall off the wagon, right? The first time that, you know, you stop working out, you let that you're going to stop drinking your Shakeology, you're going to let it back up. And then a couple months down the road, I'm just predicting, you know, you're going to have 3 or 4 bags sitting on your shelf and you're going to say, why am I doing this? And you're going to quit. Okay. So you're going to give up on yourself. You're going to give up on your dreams. You're going to give up on your health, right? So that's why you gotta define that why, that vision now. You gotta dig deeper than I want a discount. You gotta dig deeper than I want to just help people. helping people is not going to, get you up and working this business at 4 a.m. like Brian does every day. It's not going to get you to your financial dreams. Think about it. So your homework this week, guys, come up with a why, dig deep. Like, if you could wish for anything, what is that goal, that vision that you don't think is possible, right? But if it was possible, what would it be? What could this business do for you if you really worked it and you were really successful? Is it bring yourself home from work so that you can spend time with your kids? Is it maybe bring your spouse home from work? I can't tell you how many successful Beachbody coaches have a spouse that is in the military, and their goal is to bring their spouse home. I mean, it's a matter of life and death. And they work this business like nobody's business, and because they are driven, they have a real goal, right? So think about what your goal is. I mean, it could just be to make an extra $1,000 a month. What could that do for you? Could that allow your kid to go to a private school? Could that pay for piano lessons or whatever? So just come up with that why of why you want to work this business. Write it down and send it to your sponsor, okay? And then put it somewhere where you can see it every single day, right? Like Brian said, his why was health related, and so was mine in the beginning. I lost 40 pounds with P90X, right? I had to, because I got put on high blood pressure medication. My cholesterol was high. My sugar was high. The doctor said, Greg, you are looking at, the next, however long being on medication for the rest of your life. So I knew it was time to take charge of my life, right? And that is what kept me going, right? It wasn't just the discount. It was my health that I needed to take control of, right? Helping people was definitely a positive. And then later, the money became a real driving why for me, because, once I started believing what was possible, then things started to really change for me. Jessica, do you have anything to add about the why?
Okay, I had to unmute. I would just reiterate that to find something very, very, very personal to you, more like what you want your life to look like, your family's life to look like, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. That is really how you can. It's what you have said, that's what will get you out of bed, not I want to help people okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. On my screen, I froze. When I started as a coach, it was simply, I had a job I hated. I wasn't making much money, and I hadn't in any job that I had. And I just was terribly, terribly sad and unfulfilled. And so I thought if I could find a job where I made better money, that would fix everything. So I became a coach, and that was the wrong why to get started, because I wanted to make money. And I will be the first to admit that I struggled a lot through the first year and a half of my business, because that was my driving factor. I dug in, continued to dig into personal development and learn things about myself and change the way I'm doing things. I have found it's lit a fire in me that I have never experienced before. And I've learned how to dream for my future and my family's future, and do that in a way that will help me to keep pushing forward. So if it's hard in the beginning, I get that. And if you need help with that, let me know. I'm happy to help try to point you in a direction where you can kind of dig. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff when I first became a coach. So it can be a challenge, but dig deep and keep with it. It's worth it.
Okay, let's talk about the 4 vital behaviors. So Beachbody has defined these 4 vital behaviors. They kind of break it down. In the beginning, I think there was 13, and they said, oh, that's way too many for coaches to try to figure out and to remember. So they broke it down to 3. And then last year they said, 3 isn't enough. We need one more. So they made it 4. So tonight we are going to talk about the 4 vital behaviors. And the first one I'll do, it's be proof the product works. We call it being a product of the product, right? So if you are not pressing play every day, right, on your workout, and if you are not drinking Shakeology every day, why would you expect anyone else to? Okay? Let me put it another way. If you're going to a gym every day and lifting weights and that's what you're posting about, right? Or you're running, that's your exercise and you're running every day, right? Why would anybody buy a program from you? Not that those things, that there's nothing wrong with those things. I do those things sometimes. But you got to make sure that you're pressing play. You got to make sure that you are doing a program. 90% of the time, you need to be doing a program from beginning to end, right? You need to be just like all the other challengers out there. You need to be taking your day 1 pictures and your measurements and your day 30, pictures and measurements, and day 60, day 90. When I started out, I did that every 30 days, and you got to share that, okay? So drinking your Shakeology, telling people about it. Now, there's so many times that I see new coaches, they're sharing awesome posts. They're sharing about what they're doing, their workouts, their Shakeology, but you know where they're sharing it? They're sharing it in our private groups. They're sharing it in the app or in the private closed Facebook group. And then when I go look at their timeline, I see like bingo games, I see crickets, so you have to be sharing it with all your friends and family. They have to know what you're doing, right? On a regular basis. You got to share your story, don't just report what you're doing, but you have to share your story, your journey, your struggles. You have to be a real person, okay? So, think about that. When you being proof the product works, that's what it means. It means, pushing play, doing your workout, drinking your shake. We're going to talk about the other vital behaviors, but it's also being getting that support, right? And giving that support to your people. That's part of it, right? Being a coach and sharing the coaching opportunity and sharing about the coaching opportunity with people. That's all proof the product, because coaching is, one of the products, right? It's one of the most important products that Beachbody has to offer. So talk about it, share it. Tell people what it's done for you, even if you make $50 one week, you could share, what did that do for you? Did it allow you to fill your tank with gas? Did it allow you to buy some groceries? If you share that type stuff, especially on your timeline, then people are going to notice and they're going to go, wow, what is this coaching thing? And it's going to cause people to take notice. Anybody have anything to add to that one? All right. Brian, you want to take the next one?
I don't have it up. Is that Track Connect invite?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Your favorite.
Okay, I know there's a lot of new coaches that are on the call. There's also sponsor coaches, vet coaches. So who listened to the National Wake Up Call today? We got 1, 2, and Greg, your hand is not 3. Michelle, all right. Greg and Jessica, not yet. Okay, you guys will definitely listen to it because they always listen to it anyway. By the way, we'll talk about that in another vital behavior, the National Wake Up Call. But today's was amazing. Today I actually listened to it twice. I listened to it live, and then I listened to the replay so I can take notes because Carl Deichler was talking so fast. By the way, Carl Deichler is our CEO of Beachbody, and he is not this guy that is locked up in some room somewhere and that we all talk, oh, maybe one day we'll meet Carl, maybe. Carl is our CEO. He's in your face. If you don't know who he is, you're going to know who he is really quick because he is everywhere. And the reason why he is because he's got a why. He's got a strong why. He's got a strong vision, a strong belief, proof of the product, and he wants to share it with everyone, with us, with the world, with everyone. So you're going to get to know him real soon. But today he talked about this vital behavior. He talked about inviting, sharing, connecting, attracting people. So, by the way, that's the vital behavior. It used to just be invite, invite, invite was the second vital behavior. And even though we say first vital behavior, second, they're all, there's no numbers to them. But the second vital behavior used to be invite, invite, invite. And by that, it meant, invite people to this lifestyle, invite people to your challenge groups, invite people into the world of Beachbody, invite them to do Insanity or 21 Day Fix, invite. And then they changed it. They changed it a little bit. And now it's attract, connect, share, and invite. So invite is still in there. It's kind of at the end though. So there's these other things there. So as Beachbody coaches, what do? We share. We share this lifestyle. Okay, we share it with everybody. How do we do that when we're talking with people? Like Greg talked about being proof of the product, right? One of the biggest mistakes that people make as a coach are in any business that's like ours, and there's a lot out there, no equals, but there's a lot out there. Any business like ours is that they don't have passion, or they don't have passion for the product, or they're not willing to share that passion of the product. They're not willing to step up on a stool somewhere or a mountaintop and scream it at the top of their lungs to everyone they come in contact with. You go to the mall, you buy something, you're talking to the cashier, you talk about Beachbody because maybe you're wearing your Beachbody shirt, and and someone says something to you, or the grocery store, or whatever. That second vital behavior, and this is all stuff that you learn, okay, guys? It's not tomorrow that you're gonna wake up and just but it's a progression. It's stuff that you learn to do as Beachbody coaches, because believe me, I was not like this when I first started as a coach. But you have to be willing to share that passion with as many people as you can, and be able to do it with such enthusiasm, such excitement, such confidence, that people go, whoa, yeah, I want what she's having over there, that is just crazy. So Carl on the call today talked a little bit about that on how do you share that? Well, it all starts with that first contact with somebody where, you can call it kind of the preliminary stage where, you're just talking to them. You're asking, how you doing? How was your day? Hey, Greg, did you watch the Super Bowl yesterday? Wasn't that pretty cool? Amazing game. By the way, what did you eat? Because, I know I had, and this is the truth, guys, chicken wings and other stuff. And I was, by the time, the halftime came around, I was like, oh my God, So that's the preliminary one, you're making conversations. And then what you want to do is you start like the investigation phase. And this is what a lot of coaches don't do. And I'm even guilty of this sometimes too. They start talking to somebody, and then all of a sudden you go, so Greg, you didn't, you ate all that junk yesterday. Well, Shakeology is going to help you. Say, here's the link. Go to my site, buy Shakeology. You're going to feel tons better. And Greg's looking at me going, what the heck? Because I totally skipped over that most important part, which is to attract and connect with somebody. Connect with somebody. Ask questions. Investigate. Ask them about how they're doing, how they're feeling. Their goals. That's something I do as a coach when I run my free groups and I get people in. And I talk to them, and sometimes I have them fill out a questionnaire, and I ask them, how do you feel? What are your goals? And I also ask them, how do you feel? If you can rate on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being totally crappy, 10 being great, every day that you wake up in the morning, what would you say? How do you really feel? So, it's investigating, what type of workouts do you like to do? Do you like to go to the gym? What do you normally, I know it was a Super Bowl, Greg, but what do you normally eat, to stay healthy? Do you take any vitamins? Oh yeah, I used to take that, too. And so it's starting conversations. That's what we do as Beachbody coaches. We start conversations. We don't sell. We don't sell anything. We share. We share. And then the final part of that vital behavior is invite. Once you establish that connection with somebody, once you establish that trust with somebody, then you can go to the next stage, which is invite. Invite them to a challenge group. Invite them to try one of our products. That after you talk to them, you've narrowed it down and said, listen, I got a solution for you. Let me tell you about All Access Pass, and this thing that we have. It's called Beachbody on Demand, and exactly what you can do with it and what it comes with, the Shakeology. I know you mentioned to me about, some digestive issues you were having, or your cravings, that chocolate that you crave at, 8:00 at night when the Big Bang Theory comes on, and it's like, oh, I got to get my peanut M&Ms and watch the Big Bang Theory, Well, let's talk about maybe how we can give you a solution so you're not craving those M&Ms when you're watching TV. That's what we do as coaches, and then invite to our challenge groups. And then the process doesn't start there. That's when the process doesn't end there. That's when it starts. And then that's when you continue to build a relationship with people, because remember, I said it before, our number one why, all of us coaches share it. We want to help people. That's what it boils down to. Everything else, won't happen unless we have a genuine need. And I have a genuine need that I need to help other people, because by doing that, it helps me. So that's what we do. So whether or not somebody buys something from you or doesn't buy something from you, you still do that vital behavior by sharing, connecting, attracting, and inviting. Great call today. So listen to that replay.
Awesome. Okay. The next vital behavior is personal development, which I know is a favorite of Jessica's. So you want to share some of your favorite personal development?
Yes. So, hang on a second. This is my book, my box of personal development. I have it all in one spot now since we moved. So I will share some of my favorite books. But I want you guys to get comfortable with the term personal development. I know when I first started, I figured, oh, this is just a bunch of self-help crap, and that gets such a bad rap. But, it's vitally important to our businesses. It's going to be a whole lot harder for you to help people and help them to better themselves if you're not bettering yourself and learning things that you can pass on to your challengers and your other coaches. And so personal development is two-faceted. You've got personal development, which is for your mind and your heart. It's what's going to keep you strong. It's what's going to keep you resilient when people are saying no. It's going to keep you coming back for more, because that next person that you can help and change their life is the next person you're going to talk to. And then there's business development, and that's stuff like these calls that's helping you figure out how to run your business, how to post on social media, how to where to place your first coach, how do you run challenge groups, all kinds of things like that. So there's two different things that you kind of pick, either alternate, or my favorite thing lately has been dividing up my PD time. I take about 20 minutes a day, and I do 10 in the morning with my personal development, and I do 10 in the afternoon with my business development. So I have 2 books going right now, and I actually love it. One of my first favorites is a book called Start by Jon Acuff. I don't know if you guys are like me at all. I was terribly afraid of posting on social media and what people were going to say, and I was so embarrassed, and what if I'm doing this wrong, and what if I fall on my face? Start will certainly help you get over those fears and just jump in with both feet. nobody else is going to know if you're doing it wrong or if you're post-bombed. Nobody else is going to know. So get over it and jump in with both feet. And let's see, an awesome, where is it? My two great business development books are The Compound Effect and Go Pro. So The Compound Effect or The Slight Edge, I like The Compound Effect better. It's going to help you figure out how all these little baby steps all along the way are what's going to get you to that goal, that end game that you're focusing on and visioning for the future. It's not all going to happen right at this moment, but if you don't keep taking those baby steps each and every day, you'll never get there either, and you'll be right back to where you started before you decided you wanted to be a coach because you wanted something different and better. GoPro is a great way to learn how to start kind of presenting the opportunity and talking to people, inviting people, kind of a must read for network marketers. So again, it's twofold. And when jumping back to your personal development, you really kind of have to figure out what you're going through. You want to read what is going to speak to you right now. I know personally for me, oh, that book's downstairs. I was going through a lot of mental stuff and family issues last year, and I kind of had to take a break from the woo-woo, get over your fear and just go for it type of self-help or personal development. I needed to really focus on something that was going to speak to my heart and how I could heal from what was happening in my life and be able to move forward. So don't hesitate. If you don't know where to get started, don't hesitate to reach out. And I'm pretty sure there is a list of PD books in our group chat that will kind of give you a little bit of at least a starting point for if this is what you're struggling with. Here's some great suggestions for these books. But please, 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 please do not discount that vital behavior. I know I've heard from so many coaches that said, I was inviting and I was being a product of the product and I couldn't get anywhere with my business. And as soon as they add the PD in, it takes off. So, me personally, I would say it is the most important. I know we shouldn't play favorites on those. They're all important, but you're not going to get anywhere without your personal development.
Yeah, and also personal development doesn't have to be reading books. It could be listening to calls, right? Or business development. Like Brian talked about, the National Wake Up Call. That's like the number one, right? You want to make sure that you listen to that every single week. If you can't listen live, listen to it on a podcast. That's what I do. Or there is a callback number that you can listen to. Also, I'm not a big reader. I'm not a really fast reader. So it's better for me to listen to books on audio. So I do Audible. So if you guys are familiar with Audible, it's a audiobook company that's owned by Amazon, and you can get a subscription there. I think it's $15 a month, and they'll give you a free book every month. That's what I have. Or you can just buy like a book on a one-time basis. You can do that too. But for me, especially when I was working full-time, there are times that you can listen, right, to a book. Like for me, it was on my commute. I could listen to personal development during my commute. Or maybe if you're a stay-at-home mom, you could do it while you're folding laundry. You can do it while you're cooking dinner. It's something that you can do at the same time as you're doing something else, right? Putting on your makeup, right? You could be productive. So that's a great thing. Another thing that you can do, it's like maybe you say, well, I can't afford books, right? Or I can't afford Audible. There is a ton of free personal development in podcasts. I love podcasts. One that is awesome is Chalene Johnson. You might know her from Turbo Fire and Turbo Jam and, PIO and a bunch of other programs. She has a podcast called Build Your Tribe, which is amazing, right? So there's that. I love Gary Vaynerchuk. He has awesome podcasts. There are so many. I can't even remember. Team Beachbody has one that I have. Let me just look at my list here. Let's see. There's Amy Porterfield. I have hers. There was a new one that I added based upon some recommendations from 5-star coaches this week. Brian, Jessica, you guys might like this. It's called, I don't know if you could see that, but it's called How I Build This. And you can look it up, but how I built this. So it's like it's like from NPR, and I think it's like interviews on from famous people on how they built their business. So it's got like Richard Branson and Kate and Andy Spade. They have a Mexican restaurants or whatever. So it's just interesting. It doesn't have to be, how to build an MLM business or whatever, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be how to build your Beachbody business. For example, it could just be, you could get podcasts on whatever you want, right? So there's different ones that you can listen to, and it just helps you fill your mind with, positivity or motivation. A lot of coaches say that, they'll do their personal development in the morning, and then that gives them inspiration for what they're going to post for the rest of the day, right? So you can use it in that way as well. All right. The last one is recognition. So I'll talk a little bit about that one. Recognition is obviously something that we do with our coaches, right? You'll see that we recognize our coaches for Hitting Success Club, for selling challenge packs, for recruiting coaches. Anything that you focus on, is going to give you good results. For example, it's like if you're training a child, right? If you give them positive recognition, well, then they're going to repeat that same behavior, right? And you don't have to apply this just to coaches. You can apply this to challengers, right? So let's say you have a challenger that you're coaching and they lose 5 pounds, right? Reward them, give them a recognition, give them a shout out, maybe give them a prize or whatever. You can run these in your free groups as well. I do this. It's like in my free group, in my free clean eating group, I give recognition for people who complete all 7 days of clean eating, right? And they post a clean eating picture all 7 days because I'm trying to reinforce good habits, right? So I recognize them with a prize at the end of my 7-day thing. I'm like, whoever completes the 7-day, free group and posts a picture every single day gets a prize. That's awesome, right? Beachbody does that for us coaches, and I love it, right? I'm a 9-star diamond coach who's making a lot of money, but I still love that little bobblehead that I get for, Hitting Success Club, right? That's probably cost them $10, I still get excited about earning like these t-shirts for completing a program, which probably cost $2, because they're so cheap. But it's awesome, right? I mean, I love recognition just like anybody else, right? So we have to recognize that our challengers and our coaches, are driven by recognition. Not everyone is driven by recognition, but a lot of people are driven by recognition. So that is, they say, that is a 4th vital behavior, that we can recognize people for good behavior. And that just encourages them to do it again, right? And that's what we want, So you guys have anything to add to that?
Recognition?
Yeah.
I remember, when I first joined your group, and, I made a post or something that, that I was able to do a move that I wasn't able to do the last time I did the workout. And not only did you recognize it and give me a shout out, but like everybody in the group, and I'll never forget how that made me feel. I was like, wow, it empowered me, and I learned from that, and I did better. But that was something that I took with me when I became a coach and said, damn it, I'm going to make sure I do my best to give as many people as I can that feeling that I was given, so that's why I do tons and tons of recognition on everything. I don't care how small it is, how big it is. You know, if you post your Shakeology picture and it looks beautiful, man, that's a beautiful Shakeology picture. Oh my God, you know, I love it. You know, so, you know, as coaches, it kind of seems like it's a no-brainer to recognize. But trust me, there's a lot of coaches out there that don't, you know, or only do it here or there, you know, maybe at the end of a group or something. And as coaches, that's not what we do. As coaches, we are there to help. We are there to recognize successes, wins, non-scale victories. And we are there also for the times when the struggles and obstacles are going on. So it's very, very important, vital behavior.
And that reminded me of something, Brian. I remember when I was going through my very first challenge with my coach, right? And I was in his challenge group, and you know, there was a whole bunch of people. We were all starting at the same time, right? You guys have all been there. We are all doing P90X together, and it came about, you know, day 30 or something like that. And he recognized somebody for becoming a coach. And I was like, what the hell? Why did he get to become a coach and not me? You know, because I thought that Scott like picked him to be a coach, you know, like anointed him. Like, you are the coach, right? You are qualified. But I was like, what the hell? You know, and I actually contacted the guy. His name was Brad. I'm like, Brad, what's this coaching thing? How did you get that? You know, how did you get to be a coach? And, you know, he's like, anybody can be a coach, you know. So anyway, I went to my coach and I said, I want to be a coach. So, you know, that's something, don't overlook that, right? If you have somebody in your challenge group that becomes a coach, announce it to everybody. A lot of times we like to keep it a secret. Oh, don't tell anybody that you're a coach. No, you know, that can be a really good thing. So, all right, let's see. What we want to talk about the 7-day quick start, right? So we only have a few minutes left, and let me share my screen real quick here. This guy. Okay, new coaches, you can see that, right? You see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. If you go to your back office, right, and your training, under news and training, you're going to see your coach, the coach training. And in there, you're going to see this business quick start, and probably even got mailed to you. But if you can't find it, talk to your coach, okay? Talk to your sponsor, because, you know, that's one of the first things that you want to fill out, right? Because we just want to make sure that you're familiar with your coach ID and your support team. And, you know, go through this document, make sure you get your website set up. Also talk to your coach. I like to use a site called, it's called simplecoachlinks.com. And I think Beachbody has one as well. That's the one that I like to use for giving coach links out to people who want to buy things from you. So talk to your sponsor about that. Let's see. It talked about the National Wake Up Call and the 4 vital behaviors, which we've already talked about tonight. So you're way ahead of the game there. Let's see, what else? Lists. Okay. List is important. You'll also find this document. Now, you don't have to use this document. You can see it's very simple, but you'll also find this under the training tab. But what we want you to do is we want you to start creating a list, right? The simplest thing, I mean, I know that you get information overload when you log into the Coach Online office, right? There's tons of training and documents and all this stuff, right? And you're attending these calls, and we're, you know, blowing your mind with all these things like the 4 vital behaviors and your why and all these things that you need to do, right? But it really comes down to, don't overcomplicate it. It's just about talking to people, right? It's like we said, it's you know, pushing play, drinking your shake, and talking to people, right? So how do you know who to talk to? You want to create a list. So I want you to just create a list, and it could be on a piece of paper. It could be in a spreadsheet. You can fill out this document, you know, just create a list of 100 people that you know And don't worry, you may think, oh, I don't know 100 people. Trust me, we all. I read a study that we all know at least like 300 or 400 people, right? Like, because if you think of your dentist, your plumber, your people you went to college with or high school with, or people you go to church with, or people you work with, we all know a lot of people. Just create a list of people that you could potentially talk to, right? Who might be interested in getting healthy and fit, right? You could talk to them on Facebook, or you could talk to them in person, or you could talk to them on the phone, or you could talk to them when you go to work, or you could talk to them when you go to church. So just create the list for now, right? And it doesn't mean that we want you to go, call 100 people, right? That's not the point. It's just creating like a memory jogger of people that you can talk to who might be interested, and you can always go back to that list and down the road and say, yeah, I never did talk to that person, right? And we're going to talk later in the future about how you can reach out to these people and help them in the future. So creating that list is part of your homework. And then lastly, there's this call with Carl, which is great, and it's on the 4 vital behaviors. And I will post that in our chat, and you guys can listen to that. That's a recorded call from Carl on the 4 vital behaviors. And Carl, if you heard him on the National Wake Up Call this morning, he's a dynamic speaker. I also shared one of his videos today in our group. He's definitely, on fire, and he can explain these 4 vital behaviors better than any of us, right? So, feel free, just copy that link. You can download it to your phone, and you can listen, anytime. Okay, guys, so that's it for tonight. So we have, this is the first meeting of our 4-part series. So next week, next Monday at 8 o'clock, we will meet again, and we're going to be talking about, let's see, what are we talking about? We're talking about social media and inviting and handling responses and follow-ups. So that's kind of critical for everyone. So hopefully we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here tonight.
All right. See you guys. And if you want to stick around for a live power hour, you're welcome to.
Hey guys, I'm going to duck out. I got my power hour done earlier today, and
Okay.
the kiddo's gone, so